Moving on, we are to introduce fractional exponent. So if you refer to the right-hand side of your formula, you have this fractional exponent 1 over n, and what causes the n to be at the denominator is because of the nth root, the radical on the left-hand side. So that tells us if you see a radical, you are to put the number of the radical at the denominator. Let's look at our first example, square root of x. So square root, you have an invisible 2, and we are to turn this into fractional exponent. So the base x remain as x, and we are to turn this square root, so 2 at the denominator, and on the numerator is 1, x, so half. In a similar way, you have cube root of x, so the base is x, the power 3 radical, and if you refer to the radical, that's cube root is order 3, so 3 at the denominator and 1 at the numerator. The last, we have the 10th root, so you put x, and the 10th root is a radical, so put it on the denominator, x to the power of 1 over 10. Moving on, let's look at the general form. On the right of the formula, you have the exponent as m over n. So you have two parts. The first part is on the numerator, that is m. So this m on the numerator refers to the power. So on the left, you see that this base a is to the power of m. And a few minutes ago, we have learned that n at the denominator refers to the radical or roots. So you have the roots number, that is n. So now we are to combine the power and the radical. And now we are to combine the power and the radical. Let's look at the first example we have. So you have cube root of x and then squared. So I believe you should see two features. The first feature is the power 2. So I believe you should have the power 2 on the numerator. So 2. And the next, you should see a cube root. You see this 3 attached to the radical. So you are to put 3 at the denominator. And 2 over 3. And we take our base as x. So you should get x to the power of 2/3. Moving on, we are to look at this down here. So 2 squared and in cube root. Let's first see the power. So power is 2. So you put it on the numerator, so 2. Secondly, you should see the number on the radical, that is 3. So attach 3 again, 2 over 3. And attach the base 2. So you should have 2 to the power of 2/3. Moving on, let's look at this. X to the power of 6. And in fifth root, let's identify the power, that is a 6. So 6 on the numerator, and the radical number 5, 5 at the denominator. So 6 over 5 is your exponent. And you have the base as x, that should be the number. So you have square root of 3 to the power of 4. So let's first identify the power. Power is a 4, so 4 on the numerator. And you get this radical, but never specify the order. So we assume it's a square root. So it's a 2, so we put 2 at the denominator. So 4 over 2. And we attach the base. And now, if you are to look at this, 4 over 2 can be simplified, right? 4 divided by 2 gives you 2. So you should get 3 to the power of 2. And if you are to simplify that further, I believe that should give you 9. the last question we have. So this question, if you are to refer it nicely, you should see your x component is at the denominator. So the first step we have is to turn the power and radical into exponent, and we are to bring it up to the numerator. So two steps altogether. So let's give yourself a try. We first identify the power. Power is 4. So 4 on the numerator. Radical is 5. 5 at the denominator. So 4 over 5. You have successfully turned it to exponent form and your x as the base, right? This is not our final answer yet because your x is now at the denominator. You have the minus 2 on the numerator. Your last step is to flip this x up. So let's do it. And now you should have your x on the numerator. But remember, when you are flipping things from the denominator to the numerator, you are to change the sign of the exponent. So 4 over 5 changes to minus 4 over 5. And you attach the minus 2 that was previously at the numerator. That should be your answer. Look at the last question we have. So we have these 2 as the power. So on the numerator, and the radical number 3, so at the denominator, you should have the fractional exponent as 2 over 3 and attach your x. And don't forget, you did have this minus sign, so attach the minus sign, and you have 6 at the numerator. And now we try to bring this x up to the numerator. So when you flip this up, you are to change the sign of the power. And now your x is up and your power change sign, minus 2 over 3. And you have this 6 originally at the numerator. And don't forget, you have this minus 1, never been simplified. And let's use 6 divided by minus 1. I believe that should give you minus 6, x to the power of minus 2/3. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe.